Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk a little bit about Governor Brown's proposed budget from a Democratic perspective. My guest is Mark DeSaulnier, a member of the State Senate from Contra Costa County, a little portion of Alameda County. Thanks very much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for asking me, Steve.
So the governor said in his State of the State address that California is back. Do you really believe California is back? That's a fragile budget we have.
Well, I didn't really think we were in the dark spot that everyone else was saying we were, but we've come a long way. It's really it's sort of surreal as somebody who's been here for a while, to go from a $40 billion deficit to 20, 25, 16, and even a month or so ago it was supposed to still be a $2 billion deficit. And now we actually have a balanced budget. It's remarkable.
A lot of folks are either interested or concerned, depending on their point of view, about whether the Democrats can resist the urge to spend as much money as they can now that they have 2/3 of each house.
No, I agree with the governor completely that good fiscal policy will allow you to do good social policy. I don't know what's happened in this country, including in the legislature here in Sacramento, where we just got in these rigid ideological opposites. But I think most Californians is not necessarily that they're moderate. They just expect us to have a work product that makes life better for them. Strange idea, but I think the governor's showing us some real leadership in that regard.
Plus, the budget is, is tentatively balanced. I mean, it only has $1 billion in its reserve fund, right, and that could be gone in a minute.
Yeah, that's not really a reserves fund. That's just being a little bit cautious. But having a budget almost of $100 billion, which is still $30 or $40 billion short of what we were projected to be at. But I'm a big believer in that we can do better. The legislature should do more oversight. These are big institutions. There's not a huge amount of waste, fraud, and abuse, but there's a lot of inefficiencies that, from a nonpartisan perspective, we should be providing more oversight. And the governor wants us to do that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about one aspect of the budget. You're the chair of the Transportation and Housing Committee in the Senate. The infrastructure gap is hundreds of billions of dollars, so the requirement is certainly there, but the money really isn't there yet, correct?
No, the California Transportation Commission is in the process of doing the first ever needs assessment for our transportation needs for the next 30 years. They estimate we're 300% underfunded just to maintain our existing capacity, so that's not adding anything. And we're about to run out of the federal ARA funds. They're all being expended. 1B funds were bonds, general obligation bonds that the voters passed some time ago. So this morning, literally, I was in meetings trying to find out how do we come up with sustainable funding for the transportation needs of 38 million Californians, keep our economy going.
I mean, the money isn't there. I mean, clearly there's a need there, and Democrats and Republicans, the business community, everybody sees that need, but you can't find the money yet.
And to be fair, the voters voted for Prop 30 that put us in this position, combined with the cuts that we Democrats made. So we have always believed we've got to be equal parts cuts and equal parts revenue. We've done that, but then we still have additional operational and maintenance money that we can't get to without some identified funding source for transportation.
Do we need more oversight of transportation projects, the big ones?
You know, we've got a lot of oversight right now. There's layers and layers of it. I just don't think it's done in a way that it's directed per project, and then the metropolitan planning organizations, the regional overseers in San Francisco, LA, and the Valley do a good job county by county, but it doesn't connect the overall mobility needs of Californians. We've gone in one generation to a completely different social model where if you're graduating from high school right now, they say you're going to have to change careers 6 times. A lot of mobility changes in that.
All right. Well, we're out of time, but Senator Mark DeSaulnier, thank you very much for coming by, talking about these important issues. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on YouTube, also on My Government On Demand.